King-Ohger is already a very ambitious show, from its visual identity to its plotting, so why not throw a 2-year time skip midway through the show for good measure to add to said ambition? Super Sentai shows have had status quo shifts before, like with Go Busters, but with King-Ohger's status quo shift, we have new outfits for a main cast of kings, a new cast of villains to fight, and a bunch of new exciting revelations and events to carry us to the epic finale. Now the question remains, was all this marketing malarkey to boost interest for the second half's ratings and toy sales worth it, or was it not? It's complicated, because just when we're trying to adjust to the new status quo a few episodes after the time skip, oops, it's time to cross over with KingOhger to celebrate the 10th anniversary of that show. We usually get standalone movies or specials for these kinds of anniversary celebrations, but admittedly, it does fit to do it in this show because there is a cute connection with KingOhger and KingOhger, as KingOhger's main protagonist was named King, and now his son Prince is crossing over with the KingOhgers. And sadly, Prince is where my main problems of this special lie. While his actor is very talented in terms of stunts, the way he tries to recapture King's bombastic personality didn't work for me. I would have rather that the writer and director gave him a more distinct personality for his character than just King 2, but I do like his suit, King Kyoryu Red, combining elements of Kyoryu Red Carnival and Kuwagata-Ohger to make a really pretty suit. While it was cool to catch up with the other KingOhgers, I still didn't vibe with this two-parter and thought it interrupted KingOhger's flow, especially after we just got a major change to the status quo. Now, one of the biggest developments for post-time skip KingOhger was the so-called redemption of King Rakules, Gira's brother who was previously a major antagonist in the show. Through one of the most hype episodes in the series, we learn more about his true secrets and motivations that all tie back to wanting to protect his brother and the nation at large. Much like Gira, Rakules tried to be a force of evil to counter the corrupt justice in the world, but unlike Gira, he became the very corrupt justice he swore to destroy, even if it was part of a larger scheme to defeat the final boss who's been pulling the strings since the start. I thought this revelation played very well into the themes of what would you do for your perceived justice and the roles you'll have to take up that meld well with Gira's character and create another fascinating pair of brothers in Super Sentai. As for the final bosses behind everything in KingOhger, we have the Space King Drugaded. So Drugaded is a chaotic, eccentric, godlike being who is meant to keep order in the universe by destroying its inhabitants. Though he slowly starts turning his job into a sadistic game of deceit by letting everyone in the universe destroy themselves. To me, I see Drugaded as not just another fun uber big bad for our heroes to stop, but a commentary on spectacle in KingOhger, and by extension, Super Sentai. From being shot on LED and green screens, to bombastic action choreography, to how quick our heroes got their final mecha combination in the show, KingOhger has always been pushing spectacle, and Drugaded is the instigator of all this mayhem. Hell, the final battle has the mech and Drugaded become so big they're larger than planets, but ultimately the final blow to him is done by our heroes on the ground. So, what exactly is KingOhger trying to say about the spectacle? Well, I don't think it's saying all spectacle is bad, especially because the show indulges in so much of it, but I do think there's a reason why the next Super Sentai series, Boom Booger, has a much simpler design scheme and production ethos. Yeah, we all love big climactic action, but so much of that can become stale after a while. I don't know, I might be grasping at straws here, but I do think there's something to be said about KingOhger's use of spectacle and how it relates to the story being told. Cause it's a show of excess for better or worse. There's so many unique characters, storylines, special effects, and more being thrown at you in this show. It can be hard to follow and keep track of everything. But on the flip side, there's so much to enjoy in the show. Having all these unique and vastly different characters come together is true to the Super Sentai spirit, and it helps that all the characters are charming as heck. And while a continuous serialized take on storytelling isn't new to Sentai, I thought it was done quite well here. So while the time skip didn't really add much to the overall show, I'd still say KingOhger is another banger Sentai show that I'd recommend.